How are we doing? Are we just about ready? You're gonna do it this way? Just a question. You're starting on me, right? Starting on me? Good. Because that's the basic rule of documentary, right? You start with the guy old, then you go young. If you start with a guy young and then go old, it scares the crap out of people. You know, the ravages of time.
I know, what a dick!
Do we got it? Do we got it? Flashback.
Hi, I'm Cliff Evanetsky, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the premiere of A Poke in the Eye, a new dimension in video review shows, a new dimension shows. I think the stars are arriving.
Hi, we're the video review show with a difference, and we want to come in and do our show.
Can we do our first clip?
Oh, how about just for... Ow! Ow! Steven, we got some ink over here. Did you get that?
People will judge this show. They'll determine whether or not we're artists like we think we are.
1990. It was a time of triumph and vindication, a time of war and recrimination, a time of this guy. And then there was A Poke in the Eye, a TV phenomena that has faded from memory like so much badly stored videotape. Yet for its creators, the little Halifax cable show that could remains a big part of their lives.
25 years. Well, it doesn't seem that long. Of course, my days are pretty much the same as during Poke times. The morning coffee, my pills, then off to work on my latest artistic endeavor, a film maybe. The hockey sticks have always helped me when I'm blocked creatively. Of course, now it's more of an affectation, a totem or a security blanket, if you will. By noon, I'm off to another project. As an artist, you have to diversify.
Back in 1990, Ian Johnston was known as a Halifax graffiti artist and general layabout. It was a hand-to-mouth existence he would later chronicle in an autobiographical film.
As deep can be, but not so deep as the love I survived on, pedestrian pennies and dumpster pizza and art council grants. But what I needed was a job, one that paid. And I finally found one at the Halifax Daily News, a local newspaper. So one day I see this strange guy holding court in our office. So I go up to him and I say, "Who the hell are you?" He says, "I'm Steve Bornais and I've been working with you for 3 years." Guess I smoked a lot of weed back then.
He was newbie, kind of chubby. I was skinny. We thought we had a good dynamic, a Mutt and Jeff thing kind of going on.
Chubby? I don't see how that... I mean, I couldn't have weighed more than 135, 140 at the time. So,
Bornais was a native maritimer whose great-grandfather immigrated there after a failed stint as a German travel agent. Like most wide-eyed North Sydney kids, Steve dreamed of getting the hell out and hosting a local cable show.
I wanted to do a show about weird movies. Ian wanted to do a show about films and cinema. I figured, close enough.
The pair were admittedly an odd marriage of art and commerce. Ian was highbrow. Steve was low rent. Ian was a prick. Steve was a different kind of prick. Bornais and Johnston first took their movie show idea to Dartmouth, Halifax's sister city and the birthplace of Ruby Keeler and canker sores.
and it was pretty much unwatchable. But there were a few moments.
Very interesting point, Ian, but as usual, irrelevant.
Yeah, we were always in those damn chairs over in Dartmouth. You know, we're reviewing movies, so why can't we move?
Pretty lame gag, eh? Pretty old, pretty old.
Despite general suckiness, Mondo Cinema received praise from the local media, who dubbed Steve and Ian the face and the chubby one.
I mean, maybe my head's a bit large for my body, but chubby, no way.
I love these dub movies. They're so bourgeoisie. Do you think I look fat?
The show also drew the attention of Cross Harbor rival Halifax Cable.
Next thing you know, we get this late night call from Halifax Cable. And they want us to take our talents across the harbor. The big time.
Fame and fortune, it seemed, was just a short drive in a stolen cable van away for Steve and Ian.
Welcome to downtown Halifax, the home of college-age drunks puking on Argyle Street.
And when you think of Halifax, what do you think of first? Why, this board, of course.
Halifax was our big break, you know, a big stage, you know, a real chance to bring our energy and our art and our je ne sais quoi to the masses.
Women in prison.
Monsters on the loose.
Teenage bad girls.
Horrible special effects.
Good special effects.
And real sleaze.
Unlike most movie reviewers of the day, Ian and Steve stood up, on their feet. They also danced, capered, strutted, and careened drunkenly into furniture.
Well, we were young and a little bit cocky, and we didn't care if you watched the show. Hell, we didn't.
Famed underwater cameraman Dave Godet directed all the Poke shows. He recalls his first encounter with Johnston and Bornais.
No, I never heard of them.
Halifax Cable, you back in the day. Steve Bornais, Ian Johnston.
Steve Bornais, Ian Johnson.
In truth, it wasn't Steve and Ian's verticality that excited viewers as much as what they said.
Incomprehensible horror gore fest starring non-actors in obscure Canadian setting.
Maniac clowns on the loose thriller where the brother dies.
Boring, outdated spy thriller where Brian Denny walks a lot. Muddled gothic horror movie where actress's big bust is disguised.
Look who we ran into, Paul Donovan. Filmmaker, Halifax filmmaker who actually makes films that people see. Yeah!
The Poke Boys were now knocking on the door of the big time. What really pushed them over the top and through the door was a letter, a fan letter, the first in local cable history. We tracked down letter writer Art Fleming at his bachelor condo in Toronto.
In the eye. Poop in the eye. Look.
Viewers began to tune to a poke in the eye on purpose, as a network deal was said to be in the offing. Poke fans also took to debating that age-old question, are you an Ian or a Steve?
Yeah, I'm an Ian guy for sure. He was the tall, handsome guy, right? I'm a Steve.
Well, I'm an Ian, but I'm 1/4 Steve on my mother's side.
I was both. I was a Steve.
Steve, I can't believe you're... No, I'm...
Dave!
Steve and Ian were jerks. On TV. You see the difference?
Ian and me had great on-screen chemistry, real tension. People couldn't wait for us to take a swing at each other. You can't fake that hatred.
I think hate is a bit of a strong word. Accurate, but strong.
They were jerks, is the point. And we loved them for it.
Always egomaniacal a-holes, the Poke hosts were now a-holes with fame and money. For Ian, that meant unlimited artistic freedom. For its famous segment on war movies, Ian even demanded the use of live ammunition.
Ian wanted the perfectionist a-hole that he is. Wanted big explosions and tanks, planes, landing craft. That stuff costs big shamolies.
But I can't compromise my art. When you compromise your art, you know, people die or get jobs in network television.
No one got a network job as it turned out, though 6 cable crew members were killed by friendly fire. At the height of Poke mania, the set became a den of debauchery in which a large cast and crew boogied to an orgiastic beat. Artist Marilyn Smulders recalls her experience as a naive ingenue on Poke's disco set. Actress Jane Morrison recalls her experience as a naive ingenue on Poke's disco set.
They were relentless. They tried to sleep with everyone, including our husbands.
That was more Steve. I just prefer to stay in the background. Watch. Pleasure myself.
That guy's a freak.
This is the original Coke spoon from the disco sketch. You know, I don't have a lot of things from Poke in the Eye. They've been sold or lost, but I kept this one as a memento or a memory of things past and for soup.
But even as the metaphoric pie of network success appeared on the horizon, Steve and Ian were sowing the seeds of their own destruction, pie-wise.
Recently I've been workshopping Brunch the Musical with my friend Kevin here. It's about society's underappreciated fourth meal. I mean, when you think about it, when was the last time you thought about brunch? Let alone sang about it?
Give me holidays for days and days and days.
Hold on. We're just gonna go with like hollandaise there? What about hollandaise sauce?
Hollandaise sauce? Well, days, holidays rhymes with give me holidays for days. It's like,
but are we stuck on days there?
Well, what do you want, hollandaise sauce?
Well, I think it's confusing. I mean, it could be any old hollandaise thing, you know. But...
Do you want to write it, or?
Place brings back a lot of memories. It's the first place Ian insulted me on camera.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. See you later.
See you later.
Always volatile, Johnston found it increasingly difficult working with the commercially minded Bornais.
We fought a lot. Me and Steve were creative opposites. He was the idea guy, and I was the guy who thought his ideas were crap.
Ian had also fallen under the influence of bohemian rock blues folk guru Al Tuck, a musical guest on the show.
I am terrified of the Manchester lady. What she does is a doggone disgrace. She loves you so well, you could never tell. Or that she'd kill you and stick a knife right through your face.
I like art. I get art. Some of my best friends are artists. A lot of my enemies, too.
Truth was, Steve didn't like anybody stealing focus from him. You know, I had this Panamanian hat once, kind of my signature. One day, Steve shows up. He's wearing the Panamanian hat. What the hell is that?
I think it works.
Tuck's influence can be felt on Polk's most controversial sketch, in which the hosts travel on a magical time-tripping VW van back to an upside-down summer of love.
Well, you can call me Saturn Orpheus.
Hi, and I'm Steve Bornais, and you can call me Nirvana.
To counter Ian's increasingly non-commercial visions, Steve suggested they rap.
I is the best. I is the rest. I is the enemy. I is anarchy.
I say give the people what they want. Am I right? Am I right?
No, he was not right. Their rap performance was later cited as a mitigating factor in the LA riots.
What's the word they use for a successful movie or a play? A sellout. What's that tell you?
In this rare behind-the-scenes footage, Polk's heartfelt tribute to the porn industry was transformed into an argument over script that led to Bornais' departure. We asked director Dave Gaudette about the on-set conflict.
Oh, I don't remember anything called Poke in the Eye. No, that wasn't me, no.
I walked out. Never looked back. Well, Ian was my ride, so I had to wait around a bit, but then never looked back.
While he never looked back, Steve did glance over his shoulder at his contract. To avoid a lawsuit, Steve returned to Polk. The result was an on-camera fight as the hosts gouged and purple-murpled for control of the show's creative visions.
Give me hollandaise sauce. I don't care what the cost. Cause it's Sunday. And I just got paid.
See, now how hard was that?
Well, there's two fields is what it is, so.
It's like the simple story of two futuristic cop critics.
Down goes Johnson.
But then it got real with cursing and noogies and CRTC inquiries.
With even the staunchest fans turning on the show, Halifax Cable pulled the plug, ending Poke in the Eye's 2-week reign at the top of the cable food chain. The network deal disappeared, as did a lot of office supplies. Life after Poke has been very different for its stand-up hosts. After a protracted legal battle, Steve wrestled control of the Poke in the Eye copyright from Ian. Korean-made Poke products include everything from children's board games to sexual aids.
I took the Poke name and turned it into an international brand that's respected and feared around the world. I mean, where else can a 6-year-old get employment?
Steve now resides on the top floor of the North Sydney Hilton, where he lives quietly with his jars of urine and indulges his love of Zamboni fumes. Ian's post-Poke life has been marked by financial and audience indifference. Steak Fork, a 6-minute film based on Ian's 1,200-page autobiography, was rejected by YouTube as unairable.
Even on the set of A Steak Fork of Icarus, he related everything to a Poke in the Eye. He even called me Steve, which actually I didn't mind. At least he cared. Maybe Steak Fork of Icarus was kind of about a poke in the eye. It was a metaphor, if you will, or a simile, an allegory. No, that's not right. Is it parable? Cautionary tale?
Yeah, I saw Tubby's movie. You want a 10-word review? Snooty bastards. Get a job. Apply for a grant and get some talent.
For the record, that's actually 13 words.
Brunch, the musical, opened earlier this year to bad reviews and 3 cases of salmonella. It closed after 1 performance.
But not so deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim.
I wonder what's on this.
Got a call from this festival the other day. they said they wanted to show an episode of A Poke in the Eye. And I was like, on purpose? I was going to tell Steve, but, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, to the premiere of A Poke in the Eye, a new dimension in video review show. And they're mad as hell.
They laughed. Not always in the right spots, but, you know. Some of the best comedies are dramas.
The success of the screening reignited interest in the show. Steve Bornais proposed a lavish reunion show, yet Ian has remained skeptical.
It's not like I need the money. All I really need is my art and a place to lay my head. Alright, so I'm doing the reunion show. It's not a sellout, though. It'll be a chance to get it right and get it in focus. I'm going to approach it artistically, you know, satirically, you know. Cash the check ironically.
Yeah, well, I got no trouble working with Fat Ass again. The guy's got talent. Not in television, but...
But it was not to be. After busting his thumb in a hitchhiking accident, Steve experienced complications. An infection set in, a fever. Then a Halifax trolley ran him over.
Word was he chased a mime into the street, and that was it. Which is too bad. I was supposed to meet him that day, but the airport lost my stick, so I was late, and by the time I got there, it was all over. I got my stick back.
Back where it all began, Ian found himself at a watery crossroads with no one by his side to stand behind him.
They still want to do the reunion show. Can you believe that? But I can't do that to Steve. Sure, he was a sociopathic douche who stole the limelight, as well as the chicks and the Poke name. Plus there was that whole unsolved Al Tuck murder. He took my Panama hat. See you later. Hi, I'm Ian Johnston.
And I'm Steve Bornais.
But, no, it's Bornais.
Bornais.
Bornais. What do you got hollandaise on the brain there, buddy? Bornais.
Why don't I just use my real name?
Hi, I'm Ian Johnston. Steve. And this is A Poke in the Eye. Steve. It's good.
That's a wrap, people.
First we need the eggs, who's got the eggs? I got the eggs, who needs the eggs? Oh, first we need the eggs, who's got the eggs? We need the eggs, who's got the eggs? Making eggs, Benedict, something gonna stick. Gonna have a Teflon pan. Anyway, you got the idea? It's like an up-tempo, like...
Yeah.
We got trouble right here in River City.
Yeah, work in progress. Work in progress.
Exactly.
Oh, those clowns. Yeah, I directed a show in the 90s. Yeah, you want some stories about them? Oh, I got some stories.